Hi there, John here. This is my Darkroom workflow webinar. I don't know how many of you so far have joined in, but hopefully there's a few of you here already, and I'm sure a few more will join as we crack on. It should be recorded, so hopefully it should be online fairly soon too. I'm not going to keep my face on the screen too long. You don't look at that ugly mug, so we'll get on with it as quickly as we can. Just to let you know what the purpose of the webinar is, essentially it's to describe our workflow to hopefully give you some tips on how you might be able to use it in your workflow, or take some elements of it, particularly those who seem to be repeating the same event and using the same setup each go. So hopefully some of the bits and pieces we show you today, you might be able to take back and help you, improve the way you use Darkroom on a day-to-day basis, because it is pretty cool as a management tool for events, as well as obviously being a photo booth app itself. Okay. So then, for us, the first thing that we do is start with our clients, and we allow our clients to choose a certain number of templates to select from. So if I bring my share screen up and lose me, I always forget to do that bit. Sorry about that. Hopefully, on the screen fairly shortly. There is a bit of a delay. I won't try and rush through too much. You can see a range of standard templates that we may use when we're talking with clients. And this is the start, if you like, of our workflow within Darkroom. You'll notice that each template, they're not all here by the way, has a name and a number. And it's those elements that we take back into Darkroom when we're loading the events up. So we send out a form. The form is a digital form and includes a selection of images that the clients can select from. Once they've gone through a variety of questions, we will get an email which looks something along the lines of the screen that you now see in front of you. This is from our client, Mr. Bugs Bunny. And as you can see, largest life across the screen, Mr. Bunny would like the zigzag template. Okay, so I know that when we do his event, we're going to have to utilize the zigzag template. If I scroll down a bit further, find out a bit more about what he's looking for. He's looking for a blue font, and he wants to text Mr. and Mrs. B Bunny. I may or may not get onto that today, but that's the text he's looking for. And then finally, the most important bit here is the fact that he's chosen the black curtain for his backdrop. Not relevant for us sitting in this webinar thing, but it will kind of for some of the settings I choose to use as I go through the procedures. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all the questions we need to do. So there we go, Mr. Bugs Bunny, and the first thing we need is zigzag. So if I go into our Darkroom setup, and it hopefully will start to appear on the screen fairly soon. Typically, with the default settings or default package from Darkroom, there's a range of templates that come with it, which are designed as starter screens, if you like, to get you going, and give you a point of reference when you design your own screens and your own layout templates, etc. They work very well, but they don't really work for us, so we choose to use our own. And how we do this is we create numbered events. So each event, there's only a few programmed in here, each event is related to the template we've just shown you in the client send out the forms that the clients get to look at when they're choosing their layout design. So that we can quickly find the matching specific layout template that we can then edit and get organized. And in theory, as long as it's saved correctly, all the settings are then correct within Darkroom for that to be a live event when it goes out. But we don't like to send it out in that format. What we like to do is create a separate event. So what we actually do, so Mr. Bunny wanted the zigzag. So in our package here, zigzag is 1001 hash zigzag. And using the numbers just keeps it to the top of the page. That's why we choose this. Yeah, and we could have 15 or 20 of these down the side, depending on which system it is. But in order to keep that as a template, and this is the important bit, we want to make sure that remains a master template for future use at a later date. So we hit duplicate event. And lo and behold, Darkroom has duplicated for us. But that just adds another zigzag, and we don't really want to have zigzag on there. So we want to name this folder Bugs Bunny, because that's our client name. And lo and behold, it appears at the top. So if this computer is sent out with a member of staff to a client site, the member of staff opens the computer, ready to start the event. He knows at the top of the list is going to be the client is in today. He will obviously have paperwork with him, but in terms of them finding it when they get there, it's all ready to rock and roll. I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see. Oh, that's better. So by keeping the naming convention using this technique, we've managed to make sure that everything is as easy to see and easy to control when it gets onto site. What I will tend to do then, after I've very quickly created it, is I will check through the settings just to make sure nothing's changed. But we also need to assign some save places for some of the output options. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my desktop. And on all our computers, we set up a folder in the My Documents, My Pictures location called Booth Photos. And they're all the same. And then we put this shortcut on the desktop. So any of our staff go, again, there is this shortcut on the desktop where the booth photos are all contained. And there you can see some sample previous events that have been held fairly recently. We don't tend to keep them all in there. We might keep the last few there, but in theory, all these should now be archived over to backup drive because they're done and dusted, they're online, they're historical. But I left them in there to show you what it normally looks like with a few in there. So we're going to create a new folder, and I'll put Bugs Bunny in there. And something else we do, as a matter of default, with all these, is I will create a folder called Edit. I won't be using that now, but later on, before we upload, I reduce the file sizes, I put everything in there. So I've just now got a folder there ready to go, but it isn't necessary at this moment. It's just habit. That's what we do. So that's our folder created. So if we go back into Darkroom itself, still on our Bugs Bunny folder, I've got my print set up. I want to save one of the outputs. I want to save one set of pictures to that folder so we can go and find it again. So bear with me while I work through this. And there it is there, Bugs Bunny. So I'm now going to hit save there. Full size, JPEG compression, no watermark. And we've now got an output for the photo strips. We've darkened a new feature of saving the original image. I'm also going to choose to do that as well. And I'm also going to put it in the same place. Darkroom automatically creates a suffix for the file name, so it adds that on there. But something else we've done here is we've created some templates. So if I go to our browse here for the output template, within this folder here, we should have, you can tell I'm using a demo version for this on our Office laptop. We've got two individual designs here, single pictures. Because on this instance, Mr. Bunny asked for a black backdrop, I will choose a white frame for this. So that will be our choice. And that just puts, all that does is puts a frame around each individual photo with a URL on it. Just makes the single photo look really good when they're uploaded onto a website later on. It just makes them a little bit more presented, better presented, if you like. Then clearly, obviously, we need to just quickly change the design. Now, while we're in this folder, as you can see, all the different designs, I've left that one with a number on. We don't actually normally have the numbers on here. It's just booth picks, zigzag, or booth picks, whatever. But you can see I have a range of standard templates that we've designed or has come with the package that is used to select from, depending on which choice the client's made. A lot of these are starter templates, so you know, for example, they're just white, so it's a plain template, and that will be what the client would see when they initially choose, and then they would add any customization or request any customization at that point. And just going further down, there's a few different Christmas ones, but because we use booth picks, we're near the start of the alphabet. We use booth picks for our naming convention because it puts them to the top of the folder. Obviously, you know, if you find a naming convention that works for you, but the idea is you find them fairly quickly when you're going into here, and they're all in roughly the same place. So you're not scrambling through looking for one. I had that design somewhere. I need to find it. Where is it? If you've named them all with a standard naming convention, you should be able to find any template you've used and you've kept ready to go. So on this occasion, it was zigzag. We'll just quickly change this. I'm not going to do anything fancy because hopefully you should know how to do. It was Mr. and Mrs. Bunny, and he wanted it blue. There we go. I'm not going to do anything fancier than that. And we'll just delete that. Yeah. Now, because this is a fairly minor change to the template, I will just hit save on this occasion. If it was a major change and they'd ask for quite a significant number of design features to be added, I would save it as a separate template. So I retain the master template for another date. But as this is minor changes and it isn't really a major issue, I'm happy to save this as the name that was given, which is 1001 Booth Pick Zigzag. So once we've done that, hit enter. It's not working because I'm not full screen. Come on. Oh. Do that way. There we go. Right. Okay, so we've got our template in there. We use a standard screen layout. We use this for all our events. We don't change it anyway. Obviously, normally ours has our logo on. If I go into the screen layouts, you'll see we would normally use that one there, which is our standard layout. I'm using a default one, which is based on ours, but it's the one that's available online if you want to download it. We don't tend to change from week to week. We can change some of the text if we need to, but by ensuring that it's always the same template or pretty near to the same template, we minimize the potential for any human error to creep in the design process. So if you do design new templates, I would say start with one you know is working perfectly, and clone it, and then make your edit changes from there, rather than designing one from scratch. Because there is so many little buttons that you need to hit as you go through each page, that it's so easy to forget to click a particular element. So fairly important. Controls, there's nothing in there. Text, that should all be the same because it's all been set up, and the timing set up, and there's no camera. Well, the camera's one we've got in there. So I'm happy now that is set up now for Mr. Bugs Bunny. Okay, so now then, after completing the event, we get back to the office. I want to make sure that our event stack, for want of a better word, stays as close as it can to as tidy as it can be. So we will change this after we've uploaded all the pictures to the website and done the edits, etc., saved them to the archive. We'll go into here and we'll quickly change that to number 2. And lo and behold, is now no longer at the top of the tree. It's now archived further down. We've not deleted it yet. We've still got it there. If anything needs to be done, if I need to reburn any of the pictures, I know I've got a copy there. So I can keep it there quite happily for a couple of weeks if need be, without it taking up too much time. Similarly with this one here we had with Joan and Freddie, another fictitious client. But now Joan and Freddie's been on there for a little while, 26th of 10th, I think, 2013. I think they've been in here long enough. So at this point we'll go in, and this is the remove event, and this is where your safe housekeeping comes in. You're not doing anything in the background, you're not changing anything, you're doing everything via the controls within Darkroom. So you choose the remove event, and I'm also going to delete the picture files. Again, very important to make sure that's checked, because it removes any of the pictures associated with that file and keeps your hard drive a bit tidier. So I would then hit remove. I probably shouldn't have done that because it's probably going to chug away for a few minutes, because it's not the quickest thing, even though there's absolutely 0 in that folder. It's just a demo folder. It's probably going to chug for quite a few minutes. So I'll waffle on while that's doing that. The other thing that's fairly important at this stage is making sure you have got this backup done of all your pictures. If you haven't got that, has that done that? Well, that's quicker than I thought. Obviously, if you go and delete all this, that data's gone, and it's very, very difficult to get it back. In fact, I think it's impossible to get it back. It's gone. So just make sure you have got that backup, and it's saved onto your archive or wherever you keep old client files before you go any further. So that's our basic event structure. So we're not using, a standard theme over and over again. We're not using the same event over and over again, and it's just piling photos, one photo or one event on top of another. Each event is unique, but we always start with a specific template. So we will have a template that we start from, which we will then clone to create a unique event for the individual client. So each client has his or her own event in that list, and it will always be placed with a naming convention at the top of the list using the one hash. So our staff, or even myself, because I have moments as well, they can find it quickly on site, after the hassle of the initial setup. A few of you eagle-eyed people will notice the one up there, we've got one hash staff. Believe it or not, it's not for us. It's another little tip that we have. We create an event for staff. We don't ever delete this one or ever change it. It's always there at the top of the tree. This is for the venue staff. It's always nice to give venue staff a quick photo. you know, they often ask to go in, so we like to do it. There's nothing worse than trying to give them a photo when it's got the couple's name on there, or something that isn't really relevant to them as such. So we have a blank template. We choose to use a film strip one in this case, and we have that permanently programmed in. And it would normally be tagged with the print and all the rest and set up. And the idea being that if staff say, "Can we nip in?" we would quickly come out of live booth mode, quickly change it over to the staff event, do their picture, and there is a folder in our in my pictures booth photos file for staff. They go in there, and then we can also then create a unique album for them, because invariably we can put those straight onto Facebook after the event as well, and they don't tend to mind as much as some of the clients. It's a great bit of PR and marketing. So yeah, we have that permanently in there. And that's another little time-saving tip or useful tip to have available to you. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. As I say, and the main aim was to try and show you this structured mechanism of finding a way of assigning templates and showing clients these templates. So you've got a starting point to work from as a structured process within Darkroom to keep your photos and your prints in separate folders, but also so you can quickly find any design feature that you were looking for. I'll come out of this. Let me close this down. That's not the one I want. Let's see if that works. There we go. There's me again. So I've moved my control there. So there you go, guys. I hope you found this of useful, of interest. I don't know if any of you can chat or ask questions. We've got 5-10 minutes if anyone wanted to. There is an application on the side where you can type in a question. But I'm hoping what I've just explained gives a greater insight into how you can use Darkroom to benefit your workflow. Thank you very much. I'll just hang live just in case anyone does actually type a question in. Be also interesting for anyone who has watched and is in the Darkroom user group, if you could give feedback on the content and indeed using Hangouts as a mechanism for delivering this. There's a few of us have talked about this in various places. It's something we'd like to do more of, but obviously it does take a little bit of organising, but we need to make sure it does work first of all. And this was kind of one of those testing situations. Not seeing any questions. I don't know whether that's just because there's none there or whether it's because you've all not seen anywhere. I suppose we could take this back onto the Facebook group if anyone would like to continue to chat there and discuss this. I'm assured this will save to YouTube and should be reviewed. I will check it shortly and find out how that all works. I may have to actually action that and get it going. So thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful, and yeah, good night. Thank you, and good day if you're elsewhere. Cheers.